Where did we stop?
We stopped basically finishing Umrah.
We finished Umrah.
We finished Umrah.
Right? Alhamdulillah, that was a burden. You know, the travel and then the crowd and tawaf and, you know, trying to find somewhere to make 2 rak'ah after finishing tawaf because there's so many people. And then drinking zamzam, you know, that refreshing feeling, and having to do sa'i, walking back and forth, and, you know, all those people, and now you finish your umrah. Cut your hair. So it's generally recommended when you do umrah to shave your head bald, all the way bald with a razor. However, if you're making Hajj in a few days, you're not going to have any hair to cut when you finish Hajj. So what you want to do for the guys is you want to shorten it, right? 2 or 1 or, you know, half, 0, but not with a razor. Okay? So that when you finish Hajj a few days later, there's some hair to cut. Okay? So if you're doing qiran, then you do not cut your hair. If you're doing qiran, you do not cut your hair. Qiran, we said there are 3 types of Hajj. You was here last week? Like, my stick.
Like half of it.
Where's my stick? So there are 3 types of Hajj. What are they?
Qiran, tamattu',
And
ifrad.
ifrad. So qiran, tamattu', ifrad. Qiran and tamattu' have umrah associated with them. Ifrad has no umrah. So if you're doing Hajj ifrad and you come to Mecca, the first thing you do is tawaf. This is called tawaful qudum, tawaf of arrival. And this tawaf, for the one that is mufrid, is sunnah. It's not an obligatory action of Hajj. Okay? It's called tawaf al-qudum. So you just do tawaf, no sa'i. If you're doing ifrad, you do not do sa'i, you just do tawaf when you come to Mecca. Tawaf. That's it, no sa'i. Right? For tamattu', you come, you do umrah, you finish your umrah, you cut your hair. If you're doing qiran, you come, you do umrah, you do not cut your hair. Sorry. Got it?
Yeah.
Say you come to Mecca on the 5th day of Dhul Hijjah. That's when you arrive in Mecca, and that's when you finish your umrah. If you're doing tamattu', you cut your hair, and then everything that was forbidden during ihram becomes permissible. No exceptions. Okay? You're in Mecca now, you're chilling, right? If your wife is there with you, you know, everything is lawful. Okay? Go to the marketplace, buy perfume, you know, give me a gift. Right? Bismillah, everything is good.
Yeah.
Right? Permissible. Go hunting, but outside of Mecca. Right? Yeah.
So it's impermissible to go shopping during Hajj?
No, you can go shopping. You missed last class, brother. Right? I'm not saying don't ask questions, but it's fine. But what's impermissible when you go shopping is to smell perfume and try on perfume. That's what's impermissible. You can shop while you are in ihram. So that's the 5th day. 6th day, you're still chilling. 7th day, you're still chilling. 8th day of the Hijjah is called Yawm al-Tarwiyah, the day of quenching your thirst. Right?
What day is that? The which day?
Sorry, what?
What number?
8th day, number 8. Right? The reason why they call it the day of quenching your thirst is because that's the day that the Hujjaj would go to Mina and they would stack up on water. Because in Arafat there were no wells. Okay? It's just an empty desert plain, nothing there. Not even well, because nobody uses that plain except for that one day a year. It's not used all year, except one day every year. That's it. So there's nothing there. So what they would do is they would fill up on water in Mina on the 8th day. So they would travel from Mecca to Mina. I think it's about 3 or 4 miles, something like that. If you walk it, it's about a 3.5 hour walk, something like that. 2.5, 3 hour walk, something like that. From Mecca, the Haram, to Mina, right? In Mina there are tents right now. So you go there, and you can put on your ihram. So for those who are doing tamattu', separating between Hajj and Umrah, if you came out of your ihram, so on the 8th day, that is the day that it is sunnah to put on your ihram, or to renew your intention for ihram. And you say, لَبَّيْكَ اللَّهُمَّ حَجًّا. Right? And usually people do it at the hotel. It's permissible to delay your ihram until just before Maghrib on the day of Arafat, on the 9th day. So the question is, when is it mandatory to be in ihram? It's mandatory to be in ihram just before Maghrib on the day of Arafat, on the 9th day. That's when it's mandatory. Before that, it's recommended. Makes sense? Clear, right?
No.
So there's a
You say
difference.
just before Maghrib
That's when it's mandatory.
on.
So if a person is planning to do Hajj and they're doing tamattu or any type of Hajj, they're planning to do Hajj, and they get to the day of Arafat, which is the 9th day, and they are in Arafat, and it's just before Maghrib, it is mandatory for them at that time to do their ihram
So you can be in Arafat the whole day without your
without
ihram?
making intention for ihram.
Oh.
That's permissible.
I see. It's not sunnah.
No.
Yeah. Against the sunnah.
Right. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is there are people that do that are working. For example, they're working for the train. For example, they're working with the tent. They're working, right? They're on a job, right? So they're doing their thing. But they also plan to do Hajj. So what happens is just before Maghrib they put on the ihram.
Understood. They get away with it.
Yeah, so they can, benefit. So it works.
No.
Okay. Some people, like with your group, they may put on their ihram like in the morning of Arafat, right? Because they're working, right? So I'm just saying that this is permissible. But what's recommended is in your hotel, your place of abode, before you leave, you make the intention. You say, لَبَّيْكَ اللَّهُمَّ حَجًّا.
So, but I thought you had to be outside of the miqat in order to make
No, brother.
it's different.
Brother. We're way ahead, akhi.
No.
What you're talking about is before you go to Mecca,
Okay.
miqat.
No.
You're talking about before you go to Mecca, before you make your Umrah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about after you finish Umrah. You made it to Mecca, you did your tawaf. Right? You did your sa'i if you're doing tamattu. You took off your ihram. You're in Mecca, you're chilling.
Mm-hmm.
Right? 6 days, 7th day, you're chilling. You're there. Right? You're having fun in Mecca. You're making tawaf every day. Watching the Kaaba, enjoying your time. Right? Eating shawarma. You understand what I'm saying? Right? Going to Jabal al-Nur. Right? Getting your knees tired. Yeah. The 8th day comes, you're in Mecca already. There's no such thing as miqat now.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, this
Why?
I was thinking the same thing.
Why not?
Because miqat are checkpoints outside of Mecca in different directions. That it's forbidden for anyone intending to make Hajj or Umrah to pass those checkpoints without making ihram first.
So they made ihram before. They
So-
made ihram for the umrah, so you don't have to. So you don't have.
So let's say it's like border patrol.
No.
Okay, you can't come into the United States unless you get checked. Right?
Yeah.
If you don't get checked, you're in trouble.
Mhm.
Okay? Asylum is difficult to get. Kind of like that. That's what a miqat is.
Mhm.
A miqat is outside of Mecca.
No.
Right? It's not in Mecca.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Now you've passed the miqat already. You did your umrah. You made the tawaf. You're in Mecca now. Because you're in Mecca, there's no such thing as miqat anymore.
So you can make your
Intention for Hajj
for Hajj inside
at
of
your
Mecca.
hotel,
Inside of Mecca.
wherever your hotel is.
But for Umrah, you have to make the intention outside before you come into
Before
Mecca.
you even approach Mecca.
Yeah, exactly.
If he is mufrid, he has to do ihram from Umrah,
From the miqat.
miqat, and then
He stays in ihram.
He stays in ihram.
Is mufrid or qarin.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for the reason why I'm thinking the same thing that the brother's thinking is because like if you're doing Umrah and you want to do Umrah again, you gotta go
That's
out.
different.
Mhm.
So for Hajj, you don't have to do
That's
that. You just
different.
can make the niyyah.
Yeah, that's
and then-
different.
Okay.
Yes, my friend.
If you live in Mecca, you have to leave Mecca and come back inside if you want to do that miqat.
For Hajj, no.
What about for Umrah?
For Umrah, yes.
Alright.
So if you want to make Umrah and you live in Mecca, or you're on Hajj, you want to do a second Umrah, you have to leave the outskirts of Mecca. You have to leave the borders of Mecca, make intention, and then come back.
Understood.
The place that people usually go is a place called Masjid Aisha.
No.
Right? Masjid Aisha is on the northern border of Mecca, right? Going towards Medina. That's the closest border of Mecca from the Haram,
Understood.
right? ماشي كده تمام Alhamdulillah. So on the 8th day you're in your hotel. Did I answer your question, Tariq?
Yeah.
On the 8th day you're in your hotel, right? You take a shower, right? Put on your perfume, renew your intention. Ya Allah, Bismillah, may Allah accept from me. Allahu Akbar, right?
Mhm.
I'm just throwing out adhkar, nothing special,
Okay, thank you.
right? Smell good, on your body. Put perfume, whatnot, deodorant. I mean, you're gonna be stinking anyway, but at least for the first few hours, you don't want to be stinking. So, deodorant is helpful. And then you put on the clothing of ihram and you say labbaik Allahumma hajja. That is if you're doing tamattu'. If you're doing qiran, khalas, you're already in ihram. If you're doing ifrad, you're already in ihram, so there's nothing that you do. Right? Just from the hotel, you just go to Mina. In Mina, on the 8th day, usually you would get there in the morning. That's when people usually go. 9, 10, 11 in the morning. So you pray dhuhr, 2 rak'ah, on time. Asr, 2 rak'ah, on time. Don't combine. Maghrib, 3 rak'ah. Isha, 2 rak'ah, on time. No combining. واضح? No combining in Mina. For this reason, the Ahnaf, the madhab of Ahnaf, combining is not a thing. You cannot combine.
No.
Why? Because Prophet Muhammad ﷺ did not combine in Mina. You can only combine according to them on Arafat. That's it. So, on the 8th day, you're in Mina. The whole time that you're in ihram, you're saying labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika lak, labbaik, innal hamda wal ni'mata lak wal mulk la sharika lak. You're doing any type of adhkar, you're doing any type of dua, you're reciting the Quran, you're doing ibadah. Why? Because you're preparing for the possibly greatest form of worship you are going to do in your entire life. So you're prepping yourself. Most people, when they are in Mina on the 8th day of Tarwiyah, they're chilling, joking, having fun, enjoying the food, right? That's not what you want to do, right? Some of the scholars that are like doing a lot of writing, they would use that time for reviewing the Quran. So they'd read like 10 ajza every day, right? because that's their opportunity to engage with the Quran.
Is there something best to do?
Just a lot of dua,
Not a dua?
a lot of adhkar, ibadah. Ibadah.
If it's better to just say the talbiyah the whole
Labbaik
time,
Allahumma labbaik. No.
you mix it up.
Any type of dua, any type of ibadah.
Okay.
Any type of ibadah.
Okay.
You know, any type of ibadah. Depending on the group that you are with and their schedule, either you're gonna go to Arafat on a bus or on a train. Most people don't walk. The walk from Mina to Arafat is brutal. It's like 4 hours, 5 hours. I did it before.
I did more than 4 hours.
It's crazy. It's long. Yeah, the year that I did it, when I got to Arafat, I slept most of the day.
True.
Yeah.
Destroyed. Oh, small.
Dead. Get up to eat, go back to sleep. La ilaha illallah. So most people are either going on a bus or on the train. The people on the train, they may get you at like 3 in the morning, right? To get on the train to go to Arafat. But that's the 9th day of the Hajj, the day of Arafat. Now, standing in Arafat, the worship of Arafat does not start until Zawal, until Dhuhr time. Before that, rest. You get to Arafat early, good for you, rest. You know, if you're awake, you don't feel tired, ma fi mushkila. Adhkar. Piece of advice. When you go to before you go to Arafat, try to minimize your food intake. Because Arafat's bathroom situation is terrible. صح? Hey. It's terrible.
Get something salty too with you.
Aywa.
The sweating.
Absolutely.
Gets your, yeah, hypertension
Absolutely.
and a lot of fainting and people.
Yes.
Heat stroke.
Yes. So, you know, control your food intake because you don't want to have to go to the bathroom. Okay? And bathroom, there are times to go to the bathroom. Now this is like a inside hack.
Experience joint.
Okay? So, the best time to go to the bathroom is like well before the time for Salah. So if it's Fajr, Fajr is in like an hour, go like an hour and a half before Fajr. So well before the time for Salah. And before food. Because they serve people food, you'll be in a tent, you'll be with a group. Before food is served or as food is being served. That's when you go to the bathroom.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
Because after food is served, people are going
It's over with.
people hit the bathroom. They're in the restrooms. Right? And for me that's important because I hate standing in line for the bathroom. That's a problem for me. So I pay attention to those things.
No.
So well before the salah time, because people are going they make wudu, kada. Well before the salah times, or before food, or while people are eating. On Arafat, once you reach Arafat, rest, do your adhkar, do your ibadah. If you are unable to sleep, but if you can, get some rest in the morning. Because it is not time for ibadah just yet. Okay? The time for ibadah is after Dhuhr. In Arafat, you make Dhuhr and Asr together. 2 rak'ah, 2 rak'ah. Okay? And usually they give a khutbah after making Salat al-Asr. After the khutbah, khalas, now you start making dua. It is not necessary to go to the Jabal Arafat. A lot of people, they want to go there. Why? Because that's what the Prophet ﷺ stood. It's not necessary to go to the Masjid Namira. Masjid Namira is that huge masjid in Arafat. Okay? If you do go to Masjid Namira, be careful because half of Masjid Namira is outside of Arafat. Half of it is in, half of it is out. Right? A lot of people don't know that. But it's not necessary to go. I've gone. It wasn't worth it.
The air condition is a blessing.
That's true.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Would
But-
it be more comfortable in there?
But if you're with a group and you're in a tent, there is air conditioning.
Oh, okay. They have tents in Arafat too.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Not as nice as the ones in Mina, because you're in Mina more days, but there are tents in Arafat with air conditioning. Yes, alhamdulillah.
So, okay, we'll continue.
No, go ahead.
So, what do you recommend? Of course, you're spending all of that time after Dhuhr and after Dhuhr
Until Maghrib.
until Maghrib in Dua.
In Dua.
In Dua. Is it best? It doesn't matter if you're in a tent or out in the sun or in the masjid. Doesn't matter.
Mix it up.
Okay.
Prophet ﷺ said, خير الدعاء دعاء عرفة وخير ما قلت أنا والنبيون من بعدي لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. The best dua is that of Arafat, and the best thing that I have said and all the messengers before me is this particular one, لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك والحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. Repeat that a lot. Repeat it. Do dua standing, facing the Qibla. Sitting, facing the Qibla. You know, go outside, face the Qibla. Right? You know, mix it up. And again, minimize food intake on Arafat, on that day especially. Because it's rough. Right? Yeah, you just have to be, you know, don't engage in conversation, man. Because people are good at wasting your time. You know, things are easy now, alhamdulillah. There's all kinds of food, buffets, and you know, everything. Everything is there. Yeah, man.
There's some drinks like that.
Yeah, man.
Oh, wow.
Dar es Salaam, they're decked out.
Yeah.
I made Hajj with them, you know, several times. They take care of things.
Yeah.
They make sure you enjoy it. But so I've seen people in these like luxury groups like complain all the time.
True.
You know, the food is not hot enough, or you know, this is the same food we had yesterday, or the beds are not soft enough,
The beds.
or yeah, man, or it's too sandy in here. All kinds of stuff. That none of that is your business. Don't worry about what people are saying, what people are doing. Don't worry about that. Right? You're there for you. Right? You're there for you. People are gonna provoke you. Step on your feet. Right? Throw sand in your face unintentionally or intentionally. Right? Step in front of you, go into the bathroom. You know, you really gotta go and they cut in front of you. Right? All kinds of things. You will be tested. I remember, alhamdulillah, I made Hajj, you know, several times. So every year, it's something different. Like the test, the trial that comes during Hajj, every year it's different. And, you know, I'll tell you a story. Right? One year, subhanallah, it was smooth. From start to finish, mashallah. Like candy. Right? No issues. And I was like, subhanallah, this was like the easiest Hajj I've ever made. So we're on our way back from Mina, you know, leaving. I should have delayed this story until we finish Mina, but I guess I started, might as well finish, right? We're going back to the hotel. We're finished Hajj Khalas, on our way back to the hotel. So it's very crowded, a lot of traffic, and the bus is barely moving. So myself and the group leader, you know, would kind of get off the bus and kind of like walk forward to see how the traffic is and then come back. But the group leader was aggravating the driver. The driver was Muslim, right? And the group leader was kind of like zayyak and stuff like that, like kind of like messing with the driver. And the driver was getting aggravated. He didn't like it. So we'd get out, you know, come back in. We were doing that like on and off, every 10 minutes, 15, something like that. My family was in the bus, my parents were on the bus. So, one time we got off the bus, and then subhanAllah, the traffic let up. He left us. He was gone.
He's waiting for the opportunity.
He was gone. So we didn't believe that this guy left us,
Yeah.
right? It just, we couldn't accept that, right? So we started jogging. He's just gonna wait a little bit up ahead. We jogged more, more, nowhere to be found. And we just know the name of the hotel, we don't know how to get there.
Mm.
So we start walking. We're literally walking for like 3 or 4 hours. And we can't even get a cab because cabs don't want to stop for you because there's so much traffic.
Yeah.
Then we finally found a cab, and he didn't know where he was going. We're falling asleep in the car, we're all the way back in Arafat. Wake up again, we're back in Mina. Wake up again, he has no idea where he's going. It wasn't until like 4 in the morning that we finally made it to the hotel. Terrible.
Back in Mecca.
Yeah, back in Mecca. Yeah, just crazy. Anyway, so basically, you're gonna get tested.
100%.
There are tests, and every time it's different. Right? Every time it's different. Just prep yourself to be patient. Be patient. Be patient.
When you're in these situations like in Mina or in other parts of Hajj, there's gonna be people who perhaps are in need, are struggling, or need help. Would you advise to help these people and do your best to like do good deeds for others, or you would just focus on yourself?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
If you can, yeah, help.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're gonna be put in that position to be a wheelchair pusher for someone
Mm.
that doesn't have anybody to push them. That's your job now.
Yeah.
Actually, this is the spot to help people.
Yeah,
Of
exactly.
course.
That's what I'm thinking.
Of course. There are people in the tent that cannot go stoning. Step up,
Mm.
stone on their behalf.
When I went to Umrah, it was a blind brother.
Yeah,
The second we got into JFK Airport, I helped him the whole way.
yeah,
Inshallah.
From there all the way, because he was in a group, from there
Mhm.
all the way to
yeah. It happens.
Medina, and you,
Yep,
get,
it
you
happens
get caught
like
up.
that.
You ain't got nothing to do about it.
That's
you
it.
know what I'm saying?
Is there also some things to be aware of? So I'm going with my wife, obviously. Is there going to be difficulties, perhaps that the women are not able to handle, that the men can handle, or should it be fine? And it's for the women to deal with the same things that men are dealing with.
It's the same issues usually.
Okay.
Same issues usually. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is Arafat. When the sun sets, khalas, standing in Arafat is over. So what's mandatory, so standing in Arafat is a pillar of Hajj.
Okay.
Okay? It's a pillar of Hajj to stand on Arafat. Now, the minimum to fulfill the pillar is that you are there just before Maghrib and you're there when the sun sets.
Okay.
So you combine between night and day.
Okay.
That's the bare minimum.
But standing just means being there. or-
Being there,
Okay.
being on the plain of Arafat.
Okay.
And there are signs everywhere
Mhm.
to say this is Arafat.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's mandatory. So the 8th day to be in Mina, that's recommended, it's not mandatory. Being on Arafat is actually a pillar of Hajj. The Prophet ﷺ said, Al-Hajju Arafat. Hajj is Arafat. But what is mandatory is that you are there during the daytime until it gets dark, until Maghrib comes in. Okay? That's what's mandatory.
Mhm.
If a person comes to Arafat after the sunset, he didn't make it to Arafat until the sunset,
Mm.
his Hajj is still good. However, he has to slaughter.
Kafar.
Why? Kafar, right? Because he missed the daytime.
Mm.
Right? His Hajj is still good. Even if he makes it to Arafat before Fajr, on the day of, what is it?
So Eid now, right?
The day of Eid. Even if he makes it to Arafat just before Fajr. But if Fajr comes in and he hasn't made it to Arafat, he has no Hajj.
Oh, wow.
He missed it. So Arafat is the only day of the year that its night is after the day, after its day. All other days of the year, night comes before.
No, I'm not coming before.
Okay?
Yeah, what-
But Arafat, its night is after. The night after counts as the day of Arafat.
Okay, so until Fajr, it's still,
Yes.
it's still that same.
It's still good.
No, okay.
Yeah. So that's the only day of the year that is like that.
Cool.
So, how long are you in Mina for?
Just on the 8th day, you're in Mina.
Okay, and then 9th day you go to Arafat.
Right. On the 9th day, some people go at 12 at night,
Mm.
right? Depending on your schedule. Because they put each bus on a schedule.
Okay,
So like bus so and so is time to go.
okay.
Bounce.
So Arafat is the ninth.
The 9th day
The ninth
of the
day.
Hijjah. It's likely going to be Thursday. Possibly Wednesday. Inshallah. Maghrib and Isha. You do not make Maghrib and Isha in Arafat. You delay.
Mm.
You go to Muzdalifah.
No.
Okay? Maghrib and Isha, you do not make it in Arafat. So one of the wajibat, one of the mandatory actions of Hajj is to make Maghrib and Isha in Muzdalifah. Okay? Muzdalifah. Muzdalifah is basically a huge parking lot.
Mm.
That's it.
How
Is
long
it
are you?
paved?
Some of it is paved and some of it is
Like
rocks.
Rocks and desert.
Yeah.
Rocky
It's
desert.
just huge.
Yeah. Okay.
Huge plain parking lot. People just put their sleeping bags, take a sleeping bag. People put their sleeping bags down and just go to sleep. So which is, you're too tired to do anything else anyway,
Yeah, it's true,
right? With Dar es Salaam, they usually will give you like a lunch, like or dinner box or something like that. Don't eat unless you're hungry, because bathrooms are
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah, yeah.
If you thought Arafat bathrooms were a problem,
Is that-
Muzdalifah is even worse. It's terrible. So as soon as you get to Muzdalifah, that's another story I have about Muzdalifah. SubhanAllah.
So how long are you in Muzdalifah for?
Just one night.
One night. The night of Arafat.
The night after Arafat. So you finish in Arafat, you go straight to Muzdalifah.
Okay, you
Right?
finish.
You finish in Arafat when Maghrib comes.
No.
Maghrib comes in, you leave Arafat.
Right.
You go to Muzdalifah.
Okay.
You pray Maghrib and Isha in Muzdalifah. You wait.
Mm.
Once you get to Muzdalifah, you make Maghrib and Isha, go to sleep.
Mm.
Okay. It is mandatory to stay in Muzdalifah until Fajr.
No.
Right? Actually, until the sun rises.
Mm.
Okay. Except for those who have excuses, medical conditions, and those who are accompanying them. They are allowed to leave Muzdalifah at midnight.
Okay.
Now, with that in mind, a lot of people leave Muzdalifah at midnight, even if they don't have an excuse.
Mm.
They're kind of lenient with that a lot.
And that's something that's wajib.
Yes.
So if someone, so how
If
do
you don't have a valid excuse and you leave Muzdalifah, you have to slaughter.
slaughter? So even for something wajib, you have to slaughter.
Not even for something wajib. For something wajib, you slaughter.
Okay.
If it's not wajib, if it's a rukn, if it's a pillar, you have to do it.
No.
And the only pillar that has a specific time, like tight time, is Arafah.
Okay. So the pillar and the wajibat, they're the same. And
They're not the same.
Okay.
A pillar, if you don't do it, your Hajj is void.
Uh-huh.
You can't make it up.
Yeah.
You're fried.
Yeah.
So the beginning of Hajj is going to Mina.
That's when Hajj starts.
So Hajj starts.
Yes.
Hajj starts. The first thing you do is Arafah.
The Hajj part of your journey
Hajj part.
is on the 8th day.
And then you stay in Mina. The first really action or activity of the Hajj is Arafah.
No, Mina.
Being in
Those two, making Dhuhr 2 rak'ah, making Asr 2 rak'ah, making Maghrib, making Isha 2
Mina.
rak'ah.
Being in Mina, doing the prayers there is part of
Right.
it. Okay. I'm thinking things outside of, like, different things that you wouldn't normally do besides praying is Arafah. Like,
Yeah,
that's a huge
Arafah.
thing. Okay.
Yeah. Going to Arafah.
Yeah.
and then going to Muzdalifah.
Okay.
Make Maghrib Isha, you go to sleep. If depending on what the group says, right? If you have elderly people with you on your bus, then you're probably gonna leave with the group because it's easy to get lost in Muzdalifah. Everything looks the same. Yeah, numbers don't mean anything. Right? Names don't mean anything. Everything looks the same. You are going to get lost.
The police cannot help.
They're like, because the police are from different parts of Saudi Arabia. They're not from Mecca most of the time, so they have no clue.
What's going? Where?
No idea. No idea.
Okay.
So stay with your group. You know, I know a guy. He's quite wealthy, right? Like millionaire. He was with us on Hajj, and you know, always complaining about stuff. Stuff is not the standard. Right? So what happened was, in Arafat, he got lost. Everybody's looking for him. Nobody can find him. Right? The day of Eid comes, he's nowhere to be found. Right? The second day is when he shows up. Right? His ihram is almost black. Right?
Crawling in tunnels.
And he basically told us the story, but make a long story short, he couldn't speak Arabic. Right? He had no idea what to do, where to go, walked everywhere, right? Walking in circles for, you know, as far as he's concerned. It got to the point where he just gave up and he just sat down. He says some people started like putting money in his ihram to help him out.
That's crazy.
Like he's a beggar, right?
There's a lot of like a lost puppy out there.
Exactly, subhanAllah. But, you know, fate has it that he was able to find a group eventually. But it's easy to get lost. You know, some people are more fortunate than others. Some people get lost and they are taken care of by the Saudi government, right? Like in sirens, in the police car, you know, moving from Arafat to Muzdalifah, chilling, you know, buffet dinner. You know, I know people that happened to. They got lost and they were taken care of. We saw them like 3 days later. They were like, they had puffy cheeks and you know, subhanAllah. So, Muzdalifah, if you leave Muzdalifah at night, then the first thing you do, right, in Muzdalifah is when you collect pebbles. And pebbles are not pebbles. Isa. Pebbles are not pebbles.
Understood,
Right?
That's how big do you gotta go?
No, I'm saying this is not a pebble.
Okay.
Right? It's not a pebble.
Nah.
Pebble is like the size of a chickpea.
Okay. Right.
Okay? And it has to be a rock, not a piece of styrofoam. Okay? Rocks. So the best thing to do is to collect for all the days that you're there. So the first day of stoning is the day of Eid. And on the day of Eid, you only stone one, the last one. Jamrat al-Aqaba, it's called. Only 7. Okay? On the first day, you only need 7. For the second day, you need 21. 3 stonings. 7, 7, 7. The third day, you need 21. So the least amount you need is 28. 28 rocks. And it's better to collect them in Muzdalifah because that's where the Prophet ﷺ will collect rocks. And there are a lot of rocks there. It's convenient. The group may provide you with rocks. Right? That's a service that some people provide.
Okay, you said the first day, second day, and third day. So where are you?
I'll tell you.
Okay.
We'll get there. Don't worry. So you're collecting rocks in Muzdalifah. If you're going to spend the night in Muzdalifah, you wake up for Fajr, you make Fajr. Oh, I forgot. You make Maghrib and Isha, and you make Witr in Muzdalifah. I forgot about the Witr part. Make Witr. The Prophet ﷺ made Witr as well. And on Fajr, you make 2 rak'ah before Fajr. And you make Salat al-Fajr. And you make dua until the sun rises. Once the sun rises, that's when you start moving.
In
leaving Muzdalifah, right? But that's going to depend on your group. I mean, I'm telling you what's recommended, how the Prophet ﷺ made his Hajj. خُذُوا عَنِّي مَنَاسِكَكُمْ خُذُوا عَنِّي مَنَاسِكَكُمْ خُذُوا عَنِّي مَنَاسِكَكُم, right? However, it's going to depend on your group, right? Be in consultation with the group leader, because he usually understands how to make Hajj and how things are going to be navigated.
Sure.
So as soon as you get to Mina, so because you're going to leave Muzdalifah to go to Mina. As soon as you get to Mina, it may be 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., right? The first thing you do is you stone
So is
before you go to the tent.
Okay.
That's usually how it's done.
This is if you left Muzdalifah
Before, like midnight.
midnight. You
Right.
didn't sleep there.
You didn't sleep there.
Okay.
So you're going to get back to Mina at like 2 in the morning. You go straight to the Jamarat and you stone. Only one, only the last one, the final one. Not the first two. So you're going to pass up the first one, you're going to pass up the second one. You're going to ignore it. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Right? Catch y'all on the flip side. Okay? Stone only the third one. Now if you left Muzdalifah in the morning, same thing. As soon as you get to Arafah, as soon as you get back to Mina, you go straight to the stoning. So this is the day of Hajj al-Akbar, the day of Eid, right? Many people, what they do, not most people, but many people, they go from Muzdalifah, they stone, and they keep it going to Mecca, and they make tawaf, right? They make it to the Haram before Fajr, and they make tawaf, okay? And many of them, they catch Salat al-Eid in the Haram, right? That's fine, it's fine.
Good, yeah.
So,
Aren't they going to be destroyed at this point because they spent all day in Arafat?
if you have energy, you have
Then
energy.
you
brother.
do. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm understanding
Some
the
people
time
got
frame.
some people got stamina, brother.
Okay.
Personally, I never did it.
Yeah.
I never did that.
I mean, if you're going hard on on Arafat, you're gonna be, and then you
Yeah.
go to it's gonna be hard, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I know people that have done it, so I'm just throwing it out there as an option.
Sure.
On the 10th day, it's the day that has so many things that everybody's doing their own thing. Okay. In order to come out of your ihram, you have to do two out of, I think it's 4. I'll count them out. I think it's 4 or 5. 2 things out of 5, and you can come out of your ihram. The first is stoning. Okay. The second is tawaf and sa'i. Tawaf, sa'i for Hajj. The third is slaughtering. And the fourth is shaving your head.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So, most people, what they do is they stone, they shave their heads, and they come out of their house. That's what most people do. The Ahnaf, they say no. The Ahnaf are usually more strict. They say no, we have to wait until we know our animal was slaughtered. And this is if you're doing tamattu' or qiran.
Yeah.
For ifrad, there's no animal slaughter.
Ifrad is just.
Ifrad is just doing Hajj without Umrah. There's no animal slaughter. This is why there is an opinion that ifrad is the best form of Hajj. Why? Because you don't have to slaughter. And slaughtering is a form of compensation. That's why ifrad is better. And it's a never-ending argument, trust me. Hajj is Hajj.
No.
Right?
So they slaughtered in case of their mistakes.
That's the argument. That the slaughter is because you combined Hajj with Umrah, rather than making a specific trip to Mecca for Umrah, outside of the time for Hajj. So you did 2 in 1, rather than just dedicating this trip for Hajj only. So because of the convenience, now you gotta slaughter.
Okay.
That's the argument, yeah. Fuqaha, they always have
Details.
they're always trying to come up with reasons and causes, and so the end of the day, ifrad is ifrad, tamattu is tamattu, qiran is qiran, and they're all accepted. That's what's important. Which one is better? Allahu a'lam.
So how far is the Jamarat from? The Jamarat is inside of Mecca.
It's in Mina.
It's in Mina. Okay. So then you leave Muzdalifah, you go back to Mina, you stone.
You go to Mina and you stone. Stone in Mina.
Okay.
So you stone only the last one.
No.
Stone, shave your head, come out of ihram, take a shower, chill.
Okay.
Okay. This is the 10th day.
Okay.
Okay. Usually the animal is slaughtered. On the 10th day, you're chilling.
Mhm.
Put on some nice, Eid clothes. Rest
You're gonna be in Mina at that time.
in Mina.
Okay.
So you continue your talbiyah, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, right? You're starting from the 8th day. Arafat, you're still saying talbiyah, labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Muzdalifah, you're still doing talbiyah, labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Until you stone. Once you stone, on the day of Eid, khalas, no more talbiyah. You're done.
Mhm.
You're done with talbiyah. No more labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Now it's takbirat al-Eid. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, wa lillahi alhamd.
No.
This is what you're doing now. You're doing takbirat. Okay? And that's for the rest of the days of Eid.
Mhm.
Takbirat, takbirat, takbirat. Likewise, Mina on the day of Eid, ibadah, dhikr, salah, Quran, and takbirat.
Do they do Eid khutbah?
No,
Okay.
if you're on Hajj, there's no Eid.
Okay.
They still do Eid khutbah like in the local masajid,
Yeah.
but not
But
not for the people who are making Hajj.
No.
No. If you make it to Mecca before they make Salat al-Eid, then you can do that. You can make Salat al-Eid. It's not haram for you to perform Salat al-Eid.
Mhm.
Right? It's neither here nor there. Okay? But on the day of Eid, which is the 10th day,
Mhm.
like after Dhuhr, after Asr, after Maghrib, some people go to Mecca to do their tawaf.
Okay.
And this tawaf, remember, if you're doing Hajj, the first tawaf, if you're doing Ifrad, the first tawaf you made when you came to Mecca, that's tawaf al-Qudum, the tawaf of arrival.
Okay.
For those who are doing Qiran or doing Tamattu', that first tawaf that they did when they first came to Mecca, that was their tawaf of
Sunnah?
Umrah.
Umrah. Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
They do
First
tawaf
step,
and
then-
sa'i.
No.
No.
Both.
No.
Now, on the 10th day, after the 10th day, now you have to do tawaf and sa'i. But this tawaf and sa'i is tawaf al-Hajj. Remember, we said 2 of 4. If you do 2 of 4, you can come out of ihram.
Mhm.
Maybe you stoned and you shaved your head, you came out of ihram, that's fine. You still have to do tawaf and sa'i.
Mhm.
Okay? Now, the time limit for tawaf and sa'i is until the end of the Hijjah.
Wait, a long time.
It's flexible.
Okay.
Okay? It's until then. You have time,
Yeah.
right? But because you're there for a short period of time, usually they have a trip, every few hours, depending on the group that you're with, to go to Mecca.
Mhm.
And you do your tawaf and you do your sa'i. Could be on the 10th day, could be on the 11th day, it's fine. Okay? So on the 10th day, again, you're chilling.
Mhm.
You do the stoning and you're chilling.
That's it.
The stone.
Stoning is in the morning.
Stoning
Usually.
only one.
Only one.
Only one.
On the 10th day.
Mhm.
The 11th day, stoning begins after Dhuhr, after Zawal.
Okay.
Now, there are some groups that go before Zawal, and their justification for that is because there are so many people and we're avoiding, the possibility of being stampeded, so it's permissible, therefore, to go early. Don't do that.
Mhm.
Right? Don't do that. Prophet ﷺ waited until after Dhuhr and then. So in Mina, on the 10th day, you're making Dhuhr 2 rak'ah on time. Asr 2 rak'ah on time. Maghrib 3 rak'ah on time. Isha 2 rak'ah on time on the 10th day.
Mhm.
On the 11th day, same thing. You Do not stone before Dhuhr. After Dhuhr, you can go stone. Okay? Try to stone during the day, not at night. Why? Because stoning should be during the day. If you're unable to make it until night falls, that's fine. But try to go during the day. So between Dhuhr and before Maghrib. After Dhuhr, before Maghrib. Yeah?
What is the significance or purpose of the stoning? What?
It
What
signifies
should be my
Ibrahim.
niyyah and my
Your niyyah
understanding
is
of this?
following.
Yeah, and my understanding of
You're
this whole
adhering.
concept.
You're adhering.
Yeah.
So where it came from, this concept of stoning, where it came from is Ibrahim alayhi salam. Familiar with the story?
Yes.
Okay. So Ibrahim alayhi salam saw a dream that he was slaughtering his son. إني أرى في المنام أني أذبحك فانظر ماذا ترى. قال يا أبت افعل ما تؤمر وستجدني إن شاء الله من الصالحين. He said, do what you are commanded, I will من الصابرين. I'll be of those who are patient. Okay? So as he was on his way to slaughter his son, he was met by Shaitan. Shaitan told him, don't do that. Don't slaughter his son. So he picked up 7 stones and he stoned the Shaitan. And he kept going, same thing happened. 7 stones, he stoned the Shaitan. Kept going, same thing happened. Stoned the Shaitan. And at that, the last stoning, the last place, that's where he attempted to slaughter Ismail alayhi salam. And when he went to slaughter, he started cutting. And the knife wouldn't cut, even though it was sharp. So he adhered. He did what he was supposed to do. It's not cutting. Alright? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replaced it with a sheep. And it is said that the sheep that, took its place, I don't know if you guys heard this before. What sheep was that? Come on. Where did the sheep come from?
Adam, right?
Yes, Ibn Adam.
I was just guessing.
Habil. So the sheep that Habil sacrificed and that was taken up to heaven was chilling in Jannah, right? Eating from the greenery in Jannah, getting fat. Waiting for Ibrahim alayhi salam to come along. All right, now sheep, time for you to go. Ibrahim alayhi salam slaughtered that sheep. So the manasik of Hajj, the rituals of Hajj, are commemorating Ibrahim alayhi salam and his family and their sacrifice. Right?
Some say it's Isaac.
Ishaq.
Yeah, Ishaq.
Very weak opinion. It's there, right? But it's not.
It's
not
what the
very- it's
Christians,
not very
it's what the
strong.
Christians argue about all the
Yeah.
time with the Muslims. Yeah.
Yeah,
Inshallah.
it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a problem for us if it was Ishaq.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Hajj is
I'm sorry, what?
Hajj is he's still following.
Yeah, it's still
he's
Hajj.
following the
It's
same-
not an issue for us. If we say it's Ishaq, it's fine. Alhamdulillah. Now, Arafat and Muzdalifah, it's some say the significance is that when Adam and Hawa were sent down from Jannah, they were sent down in different places. And it's said that Adam came to India, right? And he began searching for Hawa, and Hawa came down in Jeddah, right? So you look at the distance, like how far Adam traveled to find her and how far she traveled. Not very far, right? Just to show you like how in need, men are, of how much work we're willing to put in.
He's swimming every day.
Allahu A'lam, yani. It's not authenticated, yani, but this is. So when they met in Arafat. Okay?
He did all the walking.
Exactly. He did all the legwork. And then in Muzdalifah, that's where they, spent the night together. They say the name Muzdalifah comes from Izdilaf. And Izdilaf is to kind of like come together.
Okay.
Who knows?
Sure.
What do you know? I don't know. That's what they say.
Mm.
Allahu Akbar. It's not a hadith, by the way, so
Sure.
it's neither here nor there.
Mm-hmm.
But where were we?
Day 11, stoning after Dhuhr.
You do all three.
You do all three.
Yes.
21 pebbles.
Yes. 7, Allahu Akbar with each one.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure the stone falls in the bowl. Don't be like between where I'm sitting and that curtain and be like, Allahu Akbar. And you have no idea where the stone fell. Maybe you hit somebody upside the head. Now, and this is a hack as well. The easiest way to get up to the actual round thing is, say for example, you're coming up from my direction, right? And where the camera is the thingy, right?
Yeah.
Where you're supposed to stone. Don't go directly.
Yeah.
Don't. Go around and come to the back.
Okay.
In the back, there's nobody there.
Mm.
Just walk right up to it. Either side, right or left.
You better
In
have-
front, everybody's going crazy.
better have that jumper on you, baby.
Nowadays, the second and third floor are easier, right?
I think all of them are crazy. I mean, I don't know about now because they minimize the numbers, but
I heard that they made it a lot easier.
I haven't went for Hajj after COVID,
Okay.
so I don't know how it is now.
I was there 2 years ago.
Okay.
The second and third is.
Okay.
a lot
Okay,
easier.
good, inshallah. Thank you.
Because I remember before, I think, the farthest back I remember, there was only 2 levels, and it was still I guess, horizontal post. It was not like a big thing, and people were getting pushed. Anyway, so going around, stoning, that helps, from my experience. After you finish stoning the first one, you turn towards the Qibla and you make dua. Prophet ﷺ would make dua for a very long time. 15 minutes, 20 minutes. That's the sunnah. Okay? But you don't have to stay that long. Make dua and move. With every stone, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Go to the second one, same thing. After the second one, face the Qibla, make dua. Prophet ﷺ would make dua for a long time, 15, 20 minutes.
Do you do that? Sorry, do you do that when you do the day before, after you do the 7, on the first one?
On the first one, no.
You don't do the dua like
No.
that? Okay.
On the first one, you stone and you go.
Okay.
First one, stone, make dua. Second one, stone, make dua.
Okay.
Third one, stone, keep moving.
Okay.
That's on the 11th day.
Mm-hmm.
Most groups are leaving Mina on the 12th day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mina, it is mandatory to spend the night in Mina.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's mandatory to spend the night in Mina. So, if you go for Tawaf and Sa'i, make sure you spend the night in Mina.
Then you come back and
Come back and spend the night in Mina, even if it's the last 2 hours of the night, the last hour of the night. Make sure you're there at night.
Mm-hmm.
That's mandatory. Okay. The 11th night, which is the night before the 11th,
Mm-hmm.
the 12th night, which is the night before the 12th,
Okay.
it's mandatory to spend the night in Mina.
11th night and the 12th night?
11th night, which is the night before the 11th,
No.
the 12th night, which is the night before the 12th.
Okay.
Mandatory to spend the night in Mina. On the 12th day, most groups leave Mina.
Okay. Do you have to? Are you stoning on the 12th
On
day
the
as
12th,
well?
yes.
Okay.
So the stoning on the 12th day is the same as the stoning on the 11th day.
Mm-hmm.
On the 11th day, of course, you make Dhuhr, 2 rak'ah on time, Asr, 2 rak'ah on time, Maghrib, 3 rak'ah on time, Isha, 2 rak'ah on time. On the 12th day, most people leave Mina.
Mm-hmm.
In order for you to be allowed to leave Mina, you have to make sure you stone before Maghrib on the 12th day.
Mm-hmm.
If Maghrib comes in and you haven't stoned yet, you have to stay for the 13th day. You have to stay. And you have to stone on the 13th day. But if you're able to leave before Maghrib, stone and leave Mina before Maghrib, khalas. You're done with Mina.
Same on both days after Dhuhr. On the 11th and 12th day, you start stoning after Dhuhr on both.
After Dhuhr on both days.
Okay.
Right. But the consequence of not stoning before Maghrib on the 12th day is that you have to spend the night in Mina. And then stone on the 13th day. On the 13th day is a ghost town. Mina is a ghost town. Like abracadabra type stuff.
Mm.
Now you see me, now you don't. Now, when you come out of Ihram, there's one thing I forgot to mention. When you come out of Ihram, after stoning on the 10th day, everything is permissible for you except for women. Okay, so this is called At-Tahallul al-Asghar, the minor, the minor coming out of Ihram.
Okay.
I'm not being very particular with words.
Slight restriction, basically.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, you're not,
You're in a different mode at that
you
point.
can't. You just can't. Too many people.
No,
You just can't.
definitely.
I mean, if somebody manages to do something like that, I mean, Allahu A'lam, yani. Anyway, jokes aside, on the 12th day, you stone after Dhuhr and you leave. Leave Mina. If you already did your tawaf and sa'i for Hajj, khalas, you're good. If you hadn't done your tawaf and sa'i for Hajj, you still have to do it. Some scholars say it is permissible to combine one tawaf for tawaf al-Hajj and tawaf al-Wada'. Tawaf al-Wada' is the farewell tawaf.
Mm.
When you're leaving Mecca, the last thing you do before you leave Mecca is you make tawaf. Okay. Some scholars say that's permissible, but let's not go with that opinion.
So you said merging both of them.
Yeah, saying doing one tawaf for both of them. Okay. So if you did your tawaf and sa'i already, khalas, you're good. The last thing you have to do before you leave Mecca is just make tawaf, and you're good. You can go. Just make sure before you leave, make tawaf. If you hadn't made your tawaf and sa'i already, you have to make your tawaf and sa'i as soon as you can. Right? As soon as possible, make tawaf and sa'i. So that the only thing you have left to do is to do tawaf and leave. What day are you guys coming back?
I don't know the Hijri date, but the Gregorian date is the 12th of June.
12th of June?
11th we're leaving.
Yeah, I think you have like a day. I think you have a day. Yeah, possibly have a day. So you should be good, inshallah.
Farewell tawaf and not sa'i.
Not sa'i.
Okay.
So sa'i is associated with Umrah.
Mm.
Sa'i is associated with Hajj.
Mm.
You did your sa'i of Hajj, khalas, you don't have to do sa'i anymore. Do tawaf al-wada' and you bounce.
So when is so the last Hajj is when, the last tawaf is when the Hajj is done.
Yes.
Okay.
After you finish tawaf al-wada', that's when, yeah, you know, you're free from all types of Hajj. You can,
You're out of it,
you're out of it. Khalas. And tawaf al-wada' is finished.
Hajj complete.
Hajj complete.
So if you do tawaf, if you did tawaf and sa'i after the 12th day, you just have to do one more tawaf before you leave.
Yes, tawaf al-wada'. And it should be the last thing you do. So finish your shopping before you do tawaf.
Okay.
Do your shopping, do everything you need, and then last thing you do is tawaf, and then grab your things from the hotel and, you know, bounce.
Hit the road.
What time are we looking at?
5 minutes.
MashaAllah, perfect timing. Questions?
Just advise, make sure you get your battery rechargeable hair clipper, because barbers there are like terrible. Get one of those ones that you can charge USB
Okay.
clippers and take it with you. Use
Okay.
it over there.
Okay, inshallah, I'll do so.
You don't wanna get infected. with
No,
it.
no, no. Inshallah, I'll have it. I'll have it, inshallah.
So at that point, if you did tamattu, you you have already shaved your head from the first Umrah. You cut your hair from the first Umrah. So now it's time to shave your head for the
Hajj.
for Hajj. This is coming out of Ihram. This is not after doing the Tawaf and Sa'i on the 12th day, on the 10th to 12th day.
On the 10th day.
On the 10th day. So on the 10th day, this is when
You have to do two actions, two things.
Yeah. Okay.
So if the first thing you do is tawaf and sa'i, you can cut your hair.
Okay.
If the first thing you do is stoning, you can cut your hair.
Mm-hmm.
Depends. If the first thing you do is slaughter, you can cut your hair. Come out of ihram.
So any of those major actions, and then you follow up with those actions with cutting your hair, with shaving your hair.
Right. Or you can stone, make tawaf and sa'i, slaughter, and then cut your hair.
Okay. Okay. I see what you're saying. But cutting your hair is the easiest one after. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Is there something that you, like, what, is there some, like, let's say like a spiritual benefit? What should be your, like, your outlook or perception or niyyah or like you're completing this Hajj? Can you speak about the spirituality of it?
Well, it's humbling because it's reminiscent of Yawm al-Qiyamah when everybody is standing before Allah. Nobody's like more especially like the millionaire I told you about. You're nothing. Right? Your struggles are meaningless. You're going through something, well guess what? Everybody else is going through something too. Right? It's an eye-opening, life-changing experience. It speaks for itself.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to, that's what I'm searching for, to be honest.
Yeah, it speaks for itself. Each person experiences it differently. But the most important thing is that you're patient. You don't lash out, you don't fight, you're not shoving, you're not pushing, right? People spit on you, you let it slide. People steal your shoes, I've had my shoes stolen, let it slide. I remember one year, I guess I'll end with this. Stoning, we stoned on the ground level, okay? And it was actually a stampede that day. Alhamdulillah, I was saved from that stampede, during that time.
Yeah.
And it was so much pushing and shoving that my sandals got ripped off of my feet. And I was walking on stones, barefoot. I would do that. That was like one of the worst experiences ever. And I had a brother with me. I don't know if you know Mustafa out of New York. Mustafa Al-Hanafi from Mecca, from New York City. He was kind of like carrying me to make sure that he was behind me. He's a little bigger than I was, so that I wouldn't get stampeded. Crazy. So
The stampede, what is it like? Is it
people
just
get trampled, brother, and they die.
nah?
So a lot of people.
They just moving, or are they running, or
It's
just
uncontrollable.
I don't know.
You know? Yeah, it's horrible. This was like 2006, I think, or 2005. It's horrible. Like,
Jazakallah khair.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله